Oh, I didn't turn on my camera. Hang on. That's important. Hello, everybody. Yeah, there we go. Hello, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on what time it is for you where you are. I also forgot to turn on one of the purple lamps, but that's okay. I'll get it later. Hi, happy Thursday. Welcome back to a fresh new Hazel stream. There she is. And Miss Kira. You can get your kitty cat with a side bonus of human streamer. Yeah. Good evening. How are you this fine Thursday? Hello, Cupcake Chaos. I am well. I am well. I saw a lot of doggies on my morning walk, and it was nice. It was good. I recognize like most of them too, which is it's nice to know your dog neighbors and be like, oh hey, there's Muffins and there's Mittens and oh no, there goes, you know, Rambo. Rambo the ham dog. Audio low. My voice audio or the game audio? I know the people as they pertain to the dogs. You know, you have like Mittens' mom and Muffins' dad. You know, here's the couple that typically walks, you know, Blueberry. So to speak. Very excited to commit to the Shadow Club. Nice. Been trying honor mode in BG3. Infuriatingly addictive. Since the man is called Sharkbait, maybe you should do today's runs with the left shark pet out. See if you can sniff the mount out. Yeah, there. That's a backwards thing that I hadn't even thought of. It's a cute idea. I'm doing a time riff just because it occurred to me I hadn't done one of these this week, and doing at least the one a week for the weekly quest gives you a decent chunk of flakes, which if there's any cosmetics that you still want off the vendor, not a bad idea. So I was just gonna squeak in one of these. I did a dig yesterday, so I got my weekly dig done, but then it occurred to me that I also have not done the Azerothian Archives World quest. I burned out on those a little bit before I finished everything. And I wouldn't be against doing more of those today, because there's a pet, basically. I can't completely give up on those achievements because there's a pet. There's actually two pets, but I got one of them. I got, hang on a second. Happy from just doing like enough weeks of main digs, you'll eventually piece together the pieces that you need to just get this. It kind of happens automatically. So I got that one all done, but I still need Reese for doing a bunch of world quests, or for doing a world quest in a given location 3 times. I don't know if any of the locations that are currently up are the ones that I need one more time. There's a macro that you can run to check or like a script you can run to check your progress towards the achievement. I did that and I still don't really, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep doing world quests because I need the flakes anyway, or the bits. Are they flakes? No, the mysterious fragments. Other word for a tiny little piece of a thing that starts with the letter F. For Mogs, anyway. Dogs' names are Zafira, and she's the mother. And Atlas is one of her sons. Those are beautiful names. Hazel, the Midwest US weather is crazy. Today is 50 Fahrenheit. By Saturday, it'll be low 30s. Monday, back up to 70. And next Thursday, down to 30s again. Good grief. Make up its mind. Why doesn't it? That's when you want to have all your, I mean, at least none of them are like insane, you know. You don't have any like hundreds in there, and you don't have any like sub 30s, like dramatically sub 30s, but still that's like that's a big swing. I did get the vicious mount. I am free. Would you like to see it? I put it on my hotbar so I can show it off. Whoa. Calm down, Arthas. I did not finish my Battlemender title, and I think that I probably won't. I think I'm going to most likely not do that. I got another one of these griffins. I've given away a bunch of them. I managed to give one away in Veldraken to a Tauren that was at the Alchemist table that was named Moose late at night one night, and I really enjoyed that because it was the same name as my dog. Big rewards from researchers under fire weekly, yes. Congrats, Hazel. Why, thank you. And thank you for sticking with me and not, or, you know, thanks for letting me stream it, basically. There we go. We got some more stuff. There's a cluster, another destiny. There's a box. That's got more flakes. So I'm sitting on 1,400 paracausal flakes. Is that right? Oh no, there should be another bundle of them. 2,400 paracausal flakes. And then there's a quest here. I guess I got a rep level up. That must have been the thing. Oh, for a bonus 100. Okay. So, all the things wise, I'm missing, like, some stuff. If we say... Oh, man. Where's... Time rifts. From vendors. So I am missing... These are the things I'm missing from vendors. There's still... Actually, quite a few things that are just for the dilated time pod that I just would need to do. I have two cloth ones that I can buy, so I can buy these two things. I guess I'll start with that. I need the bindings and I need the mints. I don't know if I really have what it takes to be a 100% mod collector. I don't think that I do. It's, I can do it for little pieces of time. And then I'm just going to delete those so that I can't vendor them and refund them by accident. And then... Gil the Drill has a gun for 1,050 flakes. Because I want the flakes ones. Shy Everbreeze just sells the time pod stuff. Sorotas has... Okay, I see. So for 2,500 flakes, and bear in mind, I'm sitting on... Oh, I'm sitting on 2,500. Okay. 2,500 flakes, there is an ensemble for leather. There's also a plate one that I could buy. I wonder if I would need to send my stuff over. And then I was also trying to finish the cloth jigglist gear. Yeah, there's a decent amount of stuff left here. I kind of thought I was almost done. I'm almost done with, like, the fun stuff. Where you just, like, buy a thing off a vendor. Let me see. So, Sorotis, where are you? Am I allowed to buy... I'm gonna figure this out. Am I allowed to buy... It's around here somewhere. Not you. Definitely not you. Hey, it's Sir Finley Merkleton. There she is. For all classes. Will you just let me buy this and mail it? Also, first of all, are they cool looking? Oh yeah, let's buy that one. Buy that, and then I just want to, like, mail it. Yeah, perfect. Can I just use it? No refund. No refund, just learn it? No, but I can mail it to somebody that can then learn it, so that's good. Happy with that. Today on stream, my main thing, aside from maybe poking around at a little bit of miscellaneous transmog collecting like this, is I want to finish my Freehold chances. We did about half of them yesterday. So I've got about half of them left, and it could happen for me. So Sharkbait could drop. Only one way to find out. Let's get Crinkle that set, though. Happy about that. Congrats on the Moon Beast. Really makes me want to try more PvP. Just need to quit planning, start doing time rifts again. Nice to see so many people still doing them. They work pretty well too, even if there's not a lot of activity, which I appreciate. They seem to scale relatively alright. Haven't played WoW in 3 years, just got Dragonflight. Anything I need to know? What do you say, chat? You'll pick it up as you go. It's different than the WoW you remember in some ways. You know, gear upgrading's a little different. That's new. Professions are a bit different. I would just poke along and keep doing the stuff at the top of your quest log. Keep doing the things that they're marking as campaign, because those are the things that will, like, unlock features and stuff for you. So I wanted to pick up my mail and get that set. Valhalla's ceremonial armor. Nice. At least it is, like, a bunch of different things. So, like, the number, you know, all the things number goes up. I was looking at my all the things overall percentage for my settings, and this is for all classes. I have 56.46% of the things that I am tracking, which, if we look at my all the things settings, is not everything. I have been tracking well, it's a fair amount of things. Appearances, illusions, mounts, pets, toys. Not sources, because I'm not crazy. And not achievements. I'm turning that off. I don't really care about that. And not, like, flight paths or quests or recipes or anything like that. So I'm collecting, you know, like, collectibles, for lack of a better word. Of those things, there's 101,196, evidently. And I have just passed half of them, 56.5% at 57,187. But, you know, I just got, like, what, 5 more? Woo! We're trying for a mount this time. Dungeon difficulty. Mythic. Off we go. Can't even manage to get all the pets by the end of X-Facts. Forget team logs. Yeah. I need another pet from, I need to keep an eye on Claws for Concern. I still don't have Lulu. I never got around to finishing it. I did the world quest once and people were like, hey, you should try and maybe finish the pet on this one instance of the world quest by, you know, you could do it in a raid group, you could use multiple characters. And I was like, oh no, it'll come back, and then I'll just kind of like chip away at it every time that it's up. Fool me. That quest is never up. And I think that when it is up, I probably miss it because I'm honestly not very religious about checking to see when it is active. And sometimes somebody will say it's active, and then I don't see it on my map. Like, it seems like the spawn of it is not consistent across the whole region, whereas you would expect it to be typically. So I don't really know what's going on with it, but it's been not going well. Do you collect items multiple times if they have the same appearance? If I, like, trip on it, then sure. Like, if it's something like this, where I have collected it but from another item, but I have it in my bags, I'll often try to, like, send it to the right character so they can learn it. But I don't go out of my way to get every individual item ID. Item IDs mainly matter for 2 things, in my opinion. One of them is your Data for Azeroth collection score, if you were trying to compete in your realm rankings on Data for Azeroth in terms of how much transmog you've collected. Having extra item IDs will help you with that. That number counts. And then secondly, the quantum transmog items that drop from the Dawn of the Infinites. Those will give you a piece of gear that you don't know, but that also checks by item ID. So if you only had one thing learned of like 7 of that same appearance, it could give you one of the other 6. And that's happened to me a handful of times. So I'm not religious about it. I don't track sources and itemite in all the things because there's no way I'm ever going to collect all the things as it stands with my settings right now. There's no reason for me to make my settings any harder. But if like something comes to me anyways and I already have it in my bags and all I have to do is like learn it or maybe move it around, then that'll usually do. All right, Sharkbait. 1 please. Some achievements will reward collectibles, and will still show the achievement stream. So the achievement itself wouldn't be counted, but like it won't hide a collectible just because it's behind an achievement. It would show the achievement as the source for the collectible. But I might be misunderstanding. I did not get it. I got other stuff. I got Harla's loaded dice. Imagine that. All right, take her out of here. Give me some more coffee. Let's try it again. How about the rare hunt achievements, though? They're very fun. Oh, I'm glad you had such a great time with them. Hello, Hazel. How be you? Hi, Scarlet. I'm good. I'm doing all right. I had a good day yesterday. I wrote a list. I put a sticker on my list. I used a couple of colored pens to decorate the sticker. Sometimes I'll like outline it, or like I'll give it a little speech bubble if it's a unicorn or something, so the unicorn on my to-do list can talk to me. But it was good. Were they gel pens? They're just like these Papermate Inkjoy. They're just ballpoint pens, but they came in like a pack with a bunch of colors. So I've got like pink and purple and blue, and they're great because even if I don't have any stickers, I'll still like I'll write the title of my daily like to-do list entry in black pen, but then I'll take like a pink one and my ruler and then I'll like underline it in pink, and then it's like cute, which brings me joy. Finally did a follower dungeon, worked pretty well. Nice. I also I don't want to use any super nice pens that kind of are more heavy with ink because I'm using very thin paper for my to-do list right now and I'm writing on both sides of it. I just have like a big old, you know, spiral bound like school notebook basically. I don't want anything that bleeds through too much because then I can only use half of the paper. I don't know why I'm being cheap about it when the whole thing was only like $3.50 and I've spent more than that on like very silly things, but whatever. We're going to Freehold. 1 Freehold, please. Up we go. Off and away. Borealis, and then we can fly. We're not in Freehold for a mount. It's to get into the spirit of the 1026 pirates, right? Okay, what if the secret behind 1026 and the reason that it's a pirate flag is because pirates stole the content that they had made, so then they come up with something wacky and off the cuff to give us instead because we were supposed to get a Ray D tier, but then the pirates took it. So it's not actually pirates at all. It's about the lack that was left behind in the wake of the pirates. That's not too meta, right? Speaking of unicorns, do you have the pure heart courser for 100 exalted reps? Oh, you betcha I do. I like that one a lot. I remember rep grinding. I don't remember what expansion. I guess I could probably find out. It's probably in my achievements tab somewhere. Reputations. Overall reputations. 100 and... so I got 110 reps to exalted last year in the summer. It was September of 2020 when I did that. So that would have been, I think, BFA-ish. Not BFA, Shadowlands. Shadowlands was 2020, right? Sounds true. Something like that. Hubby gave me a late Valentine's Day gift today. Got me the Lego orchid. Oh, that's cute. I like that a lot. Bit my tongue while eating pizza. Oh, I'm sorry, that sucks. It's dangerous work eating pizza. If it's not the tongue bite, it's the scalding hot sauce burning the roof of your mouth. You gotta be careful out there. Anytime I ask if Hazel is X-mount, the answer is yes. I definitely don't have everything. You could even look at the cheat sheet and look at my simple arbor and see all the stuff I don't have. You probably have a mount that I don't have. There's a handful of mounts that I'm missing that it feels like everybody has except for me. I just haven't gone and tried to get them. A lot of class mounts for one. And I only have a handful of Legion class mounts. We're working on more of them. I occasionally cannot for the life of me find a door to this place, even though it's not hard to find. I'm gonna blame... What am I gonna blame? Planets? Spirits? Glare? Glare. Yeah, it's the streamlights, that's why. Dungeon difficulty, mythic, very good. I'm in my resto spec. I suppose I could do this in Boomkin. Or the heartburn. I was into BFA. Shadowlands came out in November 2020. Murloc in Gatorade. That's what I'm blaming. Speaking of Murlocs, have you guys been enjoying the Murloc altar toy? I forget what it's called, but I ended up buying it on the shop with my balance. It's the one that puts the... I will show. We've been using this thing in Raid and it's been great fun. So hang on. Toy box. Murloc. No. Not the Mer glasses. The magical Merc Morpher. It's a shop toy, admittedly. And you touch it and it gives you a 20-minute buff. I got the best one. I got the Murloc with hair. It can transform you into a variety of different Murlocs. A lot of them are from the West Side Story. Some of them are other Murlocs from the universe. Flabby turned into Sir Finley Murgleton last night. And you can do combat like this. You've got animations. They have dances. This has been, like, my favorite new thing. It's so good for raids. Oh, the snapping. We had a whole raid of them last week. It's like the new coolness. For a while it was the Transmorpher Beacon, and I did drop one of those anyways last night after all our Murloc disguises wore off. But there's always some raid transformation toy. Sometimes it's just an atomic recalibrator. But you gotta have something there, because heaven forbid we all raid in the transmog that we picked out for ourselves. Alright, I need that. Yeah, I ended up dropping some balance for it because I didn't buy it until after I'd seen somebody else drop it. And then I was like, yeah, okay, alright. The fact that you can use it in combat. I wish it lasted longer, had lower downtime, but you stay in your Murloc form on mounts, which is pretty great. Not a lot of transforms will do that. Keeps the farm even well mounted, exactly, yeah. Thanks, you're funny. This is my favorite one though. Not all of them have hair. The Murloc and presumably a wig. It's real good. Because of that single toy, we need a Murloc playable race. I've heard people making that point because they have like great animations. They've managed to put clothes on them. Some of them are wearing pants. I've heard a lot of people wanting playable Murlocs. I won't lie, I would have been more excited for playable Murlocs than I am for Earthen, but I can live with my disappointment. Yeah, they're good. Look at the way they run. I want an expansion where they just give us a bunch of allied races that are like all of the vaguely goofy ones that people wanted. Like the Tuskar and Murlocs, and throw in Ogres, and throw in, I don't know about Sethrak. Maybe Sethrak. I'm trying to think of like things that I've heard a lot of people like really gunning for. That are like the goofy, funny kind of like animal things. Naga is a big one for me personally, subjectively. Sethrak, please. Mogu. I think you're the first person I've seen ask for Mogu. I just want Tuskar and Naga. Tuskar, Naga, and Murlocs. Just those three would make an expansion for me. You could put out those things and make no new content and make me play BFA again, and I would do it. that would work for me. Oh, I haven't collected that. Well, learn for another item. All right, this is where I can nail it over. Anyways, we did not succeed there, but she can go wait outside the instance for next week. Bellamy, thank you very much for the 12-month resub. Happy 1 year. Yeah, Null, you can throw Nulls in there as well, because they got that model update. They look really good. Think of the 20-man Ogre raids. Hazel, have you tried going for the Shackled Urzel? It's been almost 2 years for me, no drop. No, that one's on my naughty list because I don't want to do ENR. I don't have the ENR skip. I don't want to do ENR enough times to get the ENR skip. I don't want to borrow someone else's ENR skip. I just want them to make ENR blastable. And until they do that, I'm boycotting the whole business. Ethereals, please. I need my mummies. Hi, kitty. How you doing? What? Meow. Blastable or skippable. I would accept skippable. That would be fine too. But like skippable, like not in the way it is now with like the raid skip, but just like where you can just like bypass that one fight like you can with like Valorithia. In Ice Crown Citadel. How do I know if I have the Phyrax skip? That's a good question. I would check to see whether or not you have the quest for the Phyrax skip in your quest log. And if you don't, and you zone into the raid and you can pick up the quest, then you don't have it. If you know you've like done the raid a few times with the quest and you don't have the quest anymore, then you probably turned it in. It was a quest turn in, yeah. The Phyrax skip, I will, it's gonna catch strays for a second here. Sucks. You still have to kill 5 bosses out of a 9 boss raid. You have to do more than half the raid in the skip clear. It's like, I don't know. It's a lot of boss killing. I could have dealt with a couple less bosses on the skip, but maybe that's just me. 5 of 9 bosses is insane for a skip. Yeah, if it was 4, I would still be grumbly. But I probably wouldn't be this grumbly. And if it was 3, I would most likely be content. 2 would be like a dream. 5! 5! For what? We did another Phyrax skip clear last night because one of our main core raiders does not have the axe. Unfortunately, that core raider didn't show up, which I'm like weirdly bitter about. It's not my legendary. I don't know why I care so much. Didn't show, but one of our other raiders on their new paladin got it, which was very exciting. So I'm really glad we did it. Buddy better show up next week if he wants another shot at it. They buffed the drop rate. I mean, I shouldn't be bitter because like I don't know what happened. It could have been an emergency. It could have been something really important. I don't know. I don't know these people in real life, but like we're doing the clear for you. I am Canadian. I am neither American nor European. I am Canadian. Off to work. Have a great stream. Have a great day, JD Britt. Alright. Canadians represent. There's lots of us out here. That's great. Yeah, North American, yes. blending in on the NA servers, yeah. It's an important distinction. I do not do any damage. I do no damage to this guy. It's just because I'm a boomkin. And also I have no gear in this character, but like, I don't do boomkin damage. I got double dice, no mount. Yeah, well, it's alright. It's a good excuse to spend some time in here and hear the music. And you get to vendor lots. You get 27 gold per dice. Cash, maybe it's for the best that you're not me. I don't know if we would do very well if our lives were swapped. I feel like I would have a difficult time coping as you, and vice versa. Mount farming? Yes. Freehold, crazy good for raw gold. Is it? Getting my axe tonight for sure. Putting on clown makeup. I believe. I didn't look at the post on where they like... WoW had a post about data mining the drop, like the new drop rate or something like that, but Blizzard buffed it for sure. I believe in the Fear Laugh Dream for anybody that's still farming it. I think it's going to happen soon. I'm from the Denmark of the US, geographically speaking. You're from... Hang on, let me try and piece this out. The Denmark of the US. I'm losing my mind. Does that mean that you're in, like... Never mind. I don't know. You've lost me. Hazel 404. I was thinking, yeah, like, American Samoa? Why is the Crown Chem fight so easy? It's a bit odd in comparison to the other holiday bosses, right? Oh, up north? Michigan. Okay. It is Michigan. I'm just so caught up on the fact that as far as I know, Denmark is not in the US. I'm from the Denmark of Denmark. I figured it was Michigan as someone in Indiana. Orange, Iowa. I was thinking someplace that's far away? Someplace that's not in the States. I was playing a guessing game recently, and we were walking the dog in the morning, and I was trying to like, well, because American geography is like a fun guessing game because America has a lot of states and a lot of cities, and if you didn't study them in school and you've just kind of like heard of them, you know, here and there in various like, you know, news items over the years, there's some seemingly hard questions. So we were like quizzing each other and like, so like, what state is Detroit in? And like, is Philadelphia a state or a city? And I like things that I genuinely apparently did not know because I don't know, I didn't study that in school. And then we started moving on to football teams because I was trying to name 5 NFL teams that did not just compete in the Super Bowl because those 2 are cheating. And I managed to name 1 NFL team, which was the Seattle Seahawks, a couple college teams, which were the Beavers and the Gators, and then I was like completely out. And then I spent about a half an hour trying to guess which team was the Philadelphia team, and I discovered it was not the cheesesteaks. It was not the, I think that was my main guess. All the songs I needed to learn all the state names and whatnot should be Philadelphia cheesesteaks. I know what it is now because I played this game, but I was trying to guess. Great grandma's touch there. Big old drippy sandwich on the sides of the helmets. Might consider rooting for them if they were called the cheesesteaks. Sports team naming has always been very, very funny to me because some of them make sense. Like I understand wanting to name your team something like strong and intimidating. And some team names are strong and intimidating, and some team names are just kind of like, who came up with this? Greetings all, hope everyone is well. Greetings day. Happy Thursday. I hope your day is going swimmingly. Love the fun tube things. Do I have any gear in this character? Yeah. She got a couple of, like, hand-me-down flightstone gear that my priest bought with her extra flightstones. Do you want to do a European countries map quiz? It'll be fun. I would be horrific at that. I could get Italy because that's the boot. And I could maybe find France. Like I said, geography, not a strong point for me. It's not something I've studied or needed a long time. I don't travel. I've been out of school for a long time. And it wasn't a huge part of my schooling to begin with. I would do better on a Canadian map quiz, but I still wouldn't ace it. There is a 40% chance that I would miss at least one province. And if you want me to name their capital cities, I'm probably going to get like 60% of them. That's why it would be fun. Worst Canadian province. You can't just decide a place sucks. That is reserved for the people that live there. When you live in a place, you are allowed to deem that the place that you live sucks. But you can't say it about places that you don't live. That's just mean. Find the UK, find Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland fairly quickly. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe not. Did you finish shuffling? I did. Would you like to see... Actually, would you like to see the Horde version of the mount? Also, we did not get the mount. I looted already. Moon Beast. Vicious Moon Beast. And a Horde character. So you do get both factions. You don't have to grind it out twice, thank goodness. But the Horde one has different colors. You're free! I can't believe I did the entire thing in solo shuffle. I really thought I was going to get like halfway done in solo shuffle. I was going to finish my cute little Battleminder achievement. And then I was going to be like, Flabby. Flabby, queue with me. But then I didn't. I'm still 39 and 50 in that achievement. I'm giving up. Should I attempt to do all quests in the game? Yeah, I think so. I think especially if you're not attempting to do anything else and that's your one and only goal and focus, I think that could be really fun. You could be organized. Yeah. Are you doing it in Shuffle again next season? I want to know what they're even doing for next season. I don't remember what the Vicious Mount situation was like for Shadowlands Season 4. If they just I mean, I guess if there is one, then I'll get it. But if they don't do another mount, then I'm not going to bother. Alberta, the Florida of Canada. If there was a province that I wanted to live in the least, it would probably be... I mean, I would love to visit, but I think it would be difficult to live in Nunavut because there's weather concerns. There's, like, from what I understand, some, like, infrastructure and budgeting concerns. It is not an easy place to make a life for yourself. Why not farm Rise? Because I don't want to do it until after I get the Sharkbait, because Sharkbait is an easy mount farm, and I don't want to get the Courser, use it, and then get the easiest mount that's left that I need. Also, I don't want to farm Rise. I wouldn't want to, like, if I was going to do Rise keys, I would, like, pug 2s, and I wouldn't stack the group at all, because for whatever reason I'm allergic to that. I don't want to just, like, cheese by just getting a bunch of super powerful people to just blast through it, because that feels weird to me for, I don't know why, but I don't want to do that. So it would be pretty slow. I did a handful of Rise keys. I saw other people get Coursers. I didn't get any Coursers. I need to go, that'll take me to Veldraken, which I think we'll do. We eventually need to do some more class campaign. I think I might get around to that today on this guy. He's got a thing to go do in Stormheim. Infrastructure problems everywhere. Yeah, but like the capital city, as far as I understand, of this province, you cannot drive there. That's what I mean by infrastructure. Like if you are going, or like you can get there by air if the weather's okay. If there's like a big fire and you're trying to like evacuate in a car, good luck. You can't. Like there's serious infrastructure lackings because of how remote it is. What am I going? I'm going to Borealis. It's not just like, oops, our water is extra salty on Thursdays. Go if an evoker goes back to Legion, what class hall did they get? They don't get a class hall as far as I understand. Browse. Problem with Yellow Knife last year. Yeah. I do not have the King's Rest Raptor, and that is a worse mount farm as far as I'm concerned, because you can't mount up in there. I know there's like a lockout show skip that you can do, but I don't want it. You know it's bad when the joke is BC stands for bring cash. Yeah. Oh, but it's so beautiful here. It's so beautiful. I'm going to be a Holy Priest next XPEC. I'm going to be a Gnome Holy Priest. In the more immediate future, I think for Hardcore Classic Self-Found, I think I'm going to be a Troll Hunter. Because I don't really want to be a Dwarf. Dwarf is boring. Dwarf is safe. Dwarf is not easy, but like, I've done a lot of those zones already on Hardcore, because I've played Gnomes a fair amount of times. I want to be a Troll. And I think I want to do skinning leatherworking. There's a really strong argument to be made in Self-Found for Herb Alch. You can make your own health potions, you can make your own defense files. But I think I want to do skinning leatherworking, because I'll be able to kind of bolster my gear a bit. And skinning is a good way to make extra gold when you can't use the auction house, because you can just vendor leather and you can vendor the stuff that you're crafting with it, which will help with both training things, and then also, because there's no auction house, you're gonna need to like buy bags and stuff off vendors. You're gonna need gold. There's no date for the expansion release yet. No. Visited Victoria, Vancouver, Seattle several years ago. They were all so nice. Cries and Thornbush. I've done a lot of Gnome. I've done a lot of Gnome in Classic. I love it, but I want to do something different this time. So the no auction house thing is specifically for this new Hardcore Classic Self-Found challenge. It's not for WoW in general. Your next WoW expansion will still have the auction house. It's for Hardcore Classic Self-Found. I do not have the Rust Feather mount. That's another farm I gotta do. Finally, your lifelong dream, if I'm going to be a hunter with skinning and leatherworking, can make my own gear, could finally become a reality. And it's not like, oh man, you should just buy better gear on the auction house, because you can't in Self-Found. My concerns are that I will have limited access to health potions, which as a class that doesn't really have healing is going to be a bit dangerous. It's going to be a little spooky. And then the other concern is that leveling an armor crafting profession can be expensive all on its own, just with training the recipes and buying like buying up the thread and stuff. And you'll recoup a lot of that gold by vendoring the things that you make when you're skinning everything yourself, but like it is in parts that can get expensive, that can get spendy. SSF is hardcore, yes. Hardcore classic SSF. You know, auction house and retail would be, oh man, good April Fools. Definitely going in an SSF sounds super, super fun. I see what you've done there. Hardcore means that if your character dies, they cannot log back in. They are permadead. It's permadeath. I don't even know if there's, it's been a bit vague as to whether or not you can group and do group content in SSF. I'm not going to. It feels against the idea of the thing for me. The idea is mainly to see how far you can level. Getting to 60 in itself would be a huge accomplishment. Rating's not really part of the picture for me. Are you ready for the Deathlog content? I'm gonna need Deathlog just to tell me where all the dangerous spots are. Oh, I missed that. It was so fun. Solo, so no groups. So that's my feeling as well, except that the post where they announced it didn't specifically, unless I misread it, which I might have done, did not specifically say that. It said absolutely no trading. It said no auction house. It did not say that you cannot be in a group. Unless I misread it. But I'm not going to group anyway. Pew pew. Should do an X-Pack with no auction house. Only crafting orders. Uh-huh. Do you miss Reddit? No, not really. Yeah, I know it's solo self-found. I'm just saying they haven't, as far as I can tell, confirmed it in text. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't know anything. I'm not the one in charge. What's your favorite cocktail? I'm guessing we're not talking about chickens. I used to, in my younger years when I would order cocktails, because I haven't done that in a long time, I used to be a Bellini girl because I like peach flavors and because those would get you toasty very quickly when you have no alcohol tolerance. But I can probably count the number of them I've had in one hand. There was another thing that was like a ginger situation with like rum. That was pretty good. I see where you're coming from, UJ. Dark and Stormy? Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. One of my anxieties includes bars, which works out for me to save me money, so I don't go to bars because I don't really like it there. I don't feel comfortable in any way, shape, or form, so I haven't really like any drinks that I've ever ordered have been like in a restaurant. Rum and ginger beer. Blizzard is being very careful to not use the word solo. They specifically call it self-found. Yeah, maybe they're gonna let you do parties and dungeons then. I won't, but maybe they're gonna let people do that. Okay. What about cocktail bars? Nah, not for me. I have been not drinking lately, just for my own well-being and health. Zan, 1988 OG. Thanks for the brand new sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's arbitrary to me because I'm not going to group regardless. I didn't even do dungeons in regular classic, or regular hardcore classic. So I'm not going to mess with it regardless, but yeah. Interesting to see. Simple Soul, give me a cozy pub with some homies and I'm a happy day. That sounds really nice. Do you see they're raising prices on subs in Canada? First the sandwiches, now the WoW sub. I heard they're gonna do it to the States too. Or not the WoW subs, the Twitch subs, right? Or is this WoW subs?
Watch your step.
It's something. Inflation, you know.
Watch your feet.
I saw something about Twitch subs and where they were like, we're gonna try to make sure that streamer revenue keeps up with inflation despite the fact that they're keeping half of it. We're trying to make sure that our revenue keeps us afloat. I don't know. Well, we'll see. You just gotta hope for the best, I suppose. Thought you meant sandwiches for some reason. I mean, my $5 foot-long days are long gone, I think. Oh, those were good. That was the thing. Wine's the worst. One glass, I'm in bed. Yeah. I work at a bar, so easy to just take 1 or 2 drinks after work. The boss. Okay, alright, here we go. The main appeal of Subway to me, it's not that I couldn't make the sandwich myself at home. I absolutely could make myself the sandwich at home, and I have done that. But keeping vegetables fresh and available and not, like, expired is something that I struggle with a lot in my home. And sometimes, depending on your location and how busy they are, Subways struggle with that too. I'm sure we've all had some sketchy tomatoes because they don't do so good cold and sliced up. But, yeah, like I am horrible for, like, I will buy fresh produce and I will forget that I've purchased it. And then I will notice when it is no longer food, and I do that so often that I end up not really buying produce because it's just a waste of money and it's a waste of food. Whereas any kind of a sandwich location will have those things available, hopefully fresh, without me needing to remember when I purchased it. Don't eat the Twitch subs. Remember the sad carrots. Carrots are actually the one thing that I do buy because I use them in a couple of things, but they do me the dignity of not going bad for like oh hang on, that's a BOE, for a really long time. I find that I can get away with keeping carrots in my fridge in the crisper for like a long time before they get floppy. 1,000 gold. So I steam carrots sometimes. I mainly use carrots in like stir fries. Carrot is like my go-to on-hand vegetable that I'll just like slice up and stir fry when I'm like carrots and broccoli when I'm just doing like a stir fry. What else do I use them in? I mean, I made a carrot cake recently, but that was a bit different. Yeah, roasted carrots are good too. I don't do that very much though. I should make more soups in my Instant Pot. I was convinced I was gonna have another like a big soup phase. I made a big curry last night. That was good. I've got leftovers. Roasted most things are pretty good. Yeah. I tried a hack, and on the topic of this, I've been watching like, I don't know, reality home-ish cooking TV and occasionally Reno TV. And there's this trend where they want to position things as cool hacks for your kitchen or hacks for your life or hack my home. And I loathe that use of that term. What happened to tips? Hack just implies that you're like breaking something in like a cool, like a really dramatic way that's going to save a lot of time. And half of the times these things are just either like minor tips or just like a method of doing things that is no better or worse than any other way that you would have done it to begin with. And it just makes me cringe into my body until I turn into a raisin. So that was my rant. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. But I was watching Easy Bake Battle, which is my new favorite show, and there was a contestant that they had to use everything from the freezer, and she's preparing frozen broccoli, and I was paying very close attention because frozen broccoli appeals to me because it's cheaper than fresh broccoli, and then it keeps longer, so I can forget about it, and it's still food. But frozen broccoli tends to get very like wet and soggy, and it's like hard for me, especially with like my home kitchen stuff. I don't have like a huge wok that I can get to be super hot to like stir fry and get the moisture out and get it actually like done properly. So I was paying attention, and they weren't allowed to use the stove either. I think they had to use like, I don't know, they had rules. And what she does is she takes a sheet pan and she preheats it pretty hot in the oven. So she has like a piping hot sheet pan. And then she takes the frozen broccoli, she tosses it in like some oil and seasonings, and then she puts it on the preheated pan and then roasts it in the oven for a while, and it comes out really good. And I'm like, I could do that. That's a great idea. So I tried it recently, and it was very good. I should have made a little more dressing. I mixed like some oil, lemon juice, honey, and then like some salt and pepper and like maybe some chili flakes. And I tossed the broccoli in that, and it was pretty good, but I could have used more of it. I was a little sparing. Hacks give me WikiHow vibes. But SEO optimization, it's on Netflix. Yeah. Husband and I read about this exact thing. They want like a cool, and they even have a section on the show where they like make the contestants like get close to the camera and film like a little short video of like showing their cool hack, and they're just trying to like, I guess, TikTokify it, which you can't hate the game. It's the landscape these days, but like, oh man. I do still make my own sushi occasionally. I've been lazy though, so I've just been making all the things that I would put into sushi, and I've just been putting them in a big bowl. I'll just chop everything up and put it in a big bowl and call it a sushi bowl and then eat it. Anything that I can eat out of an enormous bowl with a spoon. I'm not the most civilized person, but I get by.
Phase 2.
Thoughts on YouTube shorts. So far, like as a viewer or as a creator? Because as a viewer, like many people, I've found them to be sneakily addictive. It's very easy to start watching them even if you think they're stupid, and a lot of them are stupid, but it's very easy to just, because they're so short, just kind of end up in that loop of just like browsing through and like watching them. As a creator, they're easier to get views on, but they pay dirt. They pay nothing. They're mainly an avenue for you to get more visibility that you would then hopefully convert onto some other channel of yours, like your long videos or like your stream or whatever it's going to be. But I'm trying to get more stream clips chopped up, and like I'm trying to streamline my like a workflow for getting little pieces of the stream chopped into shorts that I can put onto Reels, TikTok, and YouTube shorts, just because I want to see if it does anything. You know, I'm currently posting no content to those avenues, so anything is worth a try. I think the worst thing that happens is that I mean, it can't be that embarrassing. It's the same stuff I've said on stream. It's just in a different format. I have a Ben X in my bags. That's weird. We did not get the mount. We have one more chance. One more chance at Sharkbait this week. Perplexed to see a video of you on Instagram. Yeah, I'm gonna try that for a while. I'm gonna try and do this for a while, assuming that I can keep up with it. I'm trying some new tools to like make that process easier. And I'm trying to like set up some templates and stuff so that I can pump them out hopefully pretty quickly. Just to give it a go. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about long form YouTube. That's still a priority. Just get some AI to make it. Yeah. Basically an ad for the channel. Yeah. Working in the ad industry, a lot of talk around shorts, allocating budget towards that tactic. Yeah. It's where the attention is, which is that's just what it is. That's where people are watching. 8+ to sushi bowls. Pronomi, I think that that's good news. I won't pretend to understand what you've said. But it sounds promising. Partner saw it, was now interested in your stream, so it worked. Aw. Yeah, ever shrinking attention spans. I feel a bit like I feel a bit this is nuts. I feel a little bit like a dealer. I don't know the first thing about drugs because I'm an extremely sheltered person, so let's get that out there first. But in movies, there's like the thing of like you never get high on your own supply. Like you're supposed to sell the stuff, not do it. And I posted like this little stream clip to TikTok, so I had to like re-download TikTok. And I know for a fact for myself and the way that I consume content and my own like attention span and impulse control, whatever, I know that I need to stay a million miles away from watching any TikTok because it will do nothing but harm to me. So like I'm like every time I open up the app to like post something or like check on it, I'm like clicking away from like the autoplay screen as fast as I can. And there's something that is like really backwards or funny about the fact that like I'm putting out this thing for other people to watch, but I don't think it's a good idea for myself. I feel like one of these like quote unquote evil like tech CEOs that like makes these things but won't have them in their own house. But I suppose I'm making my peace with it. I'm not too good to watch short content. Like I said, the YouTube ones get me sometimes. TikTok would ruin my life. There's a word for that somewhere. I am doing no damage here. Happy Thursday. I have to head out for a job, so I will lurk. Happy Thursday, Whip Wap. I hope you have a wonderful day. I don't scroll short form video for that exact reason. Junk food for my brain. I did spend hours browsing Craigslist today, so I still lose. Yeah, I feel you. I know for a verifiable data-driven fact that my mental health is much better when I do not entertain myself online by just like browsing things and reading articles and like watching like you're saying, like the junk food stuff. A long form video can be different. Sometimes putting on like a longer thing that somebody's put like a lot of work and effort into can be very different. But I know just for me and the way my brain is set up is that if I spend like an hour or a couple of hours, which is usually what happens because once I start, I don't really have an off button. And I'm like reading articles or scrolling Reddit, or I used to do Twitter or like news. I'll just browse local news articles, or you end up on YouTube or in YouTube comments or whatever. The poison doesn't really matter. It's all the same effect. If I do that, I'll be engaged during that and I will feel like garbage. I will get depressed. It's like you get like this sort of not high, but like you get this sort of like energy, like this brain reinforcement while you're engaging with it. And then it's like you've run out of all of that juice and you just feel like garbage. You come down from it afterwards. And I've like all of my days where I've had like the darkest thoughts and just like the worst mental health days are usually the ones where I spent a bunch of time online. Not because of anything in particular I looked at online, but just because I feel like I used up all of the interest meter paying attention to this stuff that doesn't matter. And then I come out of it and I just, there's something called, and I'm talking out of my butt, so I'm going to really mess this up. But it's like hedonic balance. It's this idea that you can only feel X amount of like not happiness or satisfaction, but like pleasure basically within a given time frame. And no matter who you are and like what you have going for you in life, you are generally going to be about the same amount of happy. And the idea is that if you use all of it on something that is like on demand and junky like that, you have to balance it out somehow. And then that's where that crash comes from. This is not backed by science as far as I know, or if it is, it's not backed by science I've read, so please do not take this as gospel or anything like that. I'm just a person that thinks a lot about my brain. But I have found that for me that is the case if I spend a ton of time, especially that when you're flicking through lots of different things. Even if it was like cute things, even if it's like 55 videos of puppies, I will enjoy watching them and then I will feel like dirt. So I always do better when I manage to stay off the stuff. And you'd think that knowing and understanding that, also no mount, you'd think that knowing and understanding that would be enough to make me stay off of it all the time. And it works some of the time, but the habits are like built in real deep. It's hard to stay off of that, especially when like you have that habit of like, oh no, I'm feeling really anxious or really bad. I have some time. I want to feel better by consuming this content. And that's a really hard cycle to break, even if you know it's going to make you feel even worse later. Okay, what am I doing? Class order hall, I suppose? Don't see why not. Either class order hall or Azerothian archive world quest. Wowee. Putting this on my hard facts book, BRB. My brain does think a lot about my brain. And then you start worrying about like, well, am I so interested in myself because I'm like a narcissist, or am I just like really self-reflective? Like or is it easier to think about why I am this way than it is to do anything about it? And I think that might be the ding ding winner. How about those Apple Lens thingies? Don't those look silly? Yeah, I agree, Day. It's something I've been trying to practice again. You just have to, at least for me, I just have to frame practicing that skill as like lifting weights. It's like an exercise that you have to do, not just like 2 or 3 times, but like 1,000 times. And on the end of 1,000 times, you're going to be a lot better at it. And then you can take that idea and you can be like, okay, I'm feeling terrible. Lucky me, this is a great opportunity for me to practice that skill, because you can't practice it when you're feeling great. You don't need it then. If you want to practice that ability of being aware of your emotional state and allowing it to exist without letting it drive the car, so to speak, the only way to do that if you're feeling good is to actually like conjure up bad feelings, which is something they sometimes have you do. Sometimes they'll have you like contact a bad feeling so that you can practice not letting it like ruin your day. But you know, if you're having bad feelings anyways, then wowee, you get a chance to work on it for free. I'm trying to stay optimistic here. I'm going to do some more log stuff. Another favorite book is Jane Eyre. I love Jane Eyre, but I'm sometimes thinking that maybe she made me prioritize independence a little too heavily. Jane Eyre is an independent girly, and she really doesn't count on anybody but herself, and she can't count on anybody but herself. And the one time she starts to let somebody in, all of a sudden they've got like a crazy, you know, ghost in their attic. And she's, and I think I internalized that a little too hard. Where are we going? We're going to do boys. Class order hall. That's the one. Spent a lot of time thinking about this subject. Yes. I think it's in my mind, I'm categorizing it as like self-work, which I think is very important if I want to not be like this for the rest of my life. This is okay. What I am like right now is fine. I'm good with it. It's okay. It's acceptable. I would like to work on it, though. I would like to function generally better and with less internal drama. So we're working on it. We're practicing. We're going to Stormheim. How do I want to get to Stormheim? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fly back to Borellis. It's right up there. It's that way. You should write a book about your musings about psychology and sell it. There's a, I mean, I'm sure you well know, there's a whole category of unqualified people giving advice from their, I mean, if you're just giving advice from your own personal experience and you're clear about that and you're not pretending to be a qualified individual, then I guess I don't think there's anything wrong with writing a book about it. People do that all the time. You just can't, like, I don't know, people that preach their own word as gospel when they're just A, making it up, and secondly, it's very hyper specific to their own situation. It just drives me nuts. Although I will say there's plenty of people that are like qualified doctors that make books like that make books that are like kind of bananas, so they can't all be winners. Yeah, lived experience expert on my life. It's basically just like when somebody writes a biography when they're like 35. How much of a Mary Sue is the ACOTAR main character though? Yeah, I didn't find the Austen romance particularly romantic. The series of books that I read that had the biggest Mary Sue protagonist of all time in my life was the Earth's Children series, Clan of the Cave Bear and its sequels. I read that a few times because I loved it at the time when I was like a kid, and I maybe should have read it at a slightly older age because there are adult intimate scenes in those books. There's also some very triggering content matter, but whatever. But like the protagonist Ayla of those novels, she is the first couple books are kind of interesting, are like the best ones I think, because she's going through such a hard time that like you can kind of root for her resilience and like how she manages to get through it all. But then the last 4 books are just like, wow, she invented a sewing needle. She invented a new way to dye clothes. She's so great at doing this and this and this and this and this. And the only thing she can't do is sing. But we honestly think that her singing voice is pretty sexy. But it's not very in tune. Oh no, it's like so insufferable. I'm going to get to Stormheim by going to Stormwind. I should have used my dollar on Hearthstone. It's too late for that now. I'm gonna go to Asuna and fly. What books are those? It's a story. It's a series, which, mind you, adult content and some very like content warning content. So you know, look into that at your own risk if you're gonna read them. But it's a series following a young Homo sapien. Well, she grows up, but like a Homo sapien girl who is orphaned by an earthquake and then raised by Neanderthals during the Ice Age, and then later leaves them and like has to reintegrate with her own, like with other Homo sapien people. She lives alone as a fairly young person in Ice Age era Europe for a while, which is another type of book that's going to teach you that if you keep your own stores of food, then nothing can hurt you. But some things of it are very interesting. There's a fair amount of historical research that went into things like tool making processes, and like, you know, like prehistoric medicine and stuff like that. It's parts of it are really fascinating, and it's like a compelling series, but it's also a bit it's a bit smutty at times. Interesting premise. Sounds awful. I don't know if I would recommend them. It depends on if you like I don't know. I wouldn't call it historical fiction. It is vaguely pulpy fiction. Who is the author? What is her name? I can Google this. I used to know it. I know it. By Jean M. Auel, A-U-E-L. A series of epic historical fiction novels set circa 30,000 years before the present day. There's 6 novels in the series. That's the one. Whew. But yeah. I am so far from where it is that I'm going. I think I've picked the most scenic possible route. Look at Boy in his PJs just trying to ride his dragon and make it there. He looks like he's realizing that he forgot to gas the thing up. Oh man, I hope we make it. You have 47 books on your shelf and you haven't read them yet? You got your whole year cut out for you. I do find any media about like Ice Age and like prehistoric humans to be like really interesting. But there's only so much of it. I think I might be pretty close to the end. I'm not going to check in BTW Quest because I don't want to spoil a surprise, but I think I might be coming up close on the end of the campaign that I'm doing here. I think we're not too far from it. Yeah, I'm going to pass on the podcast thing, Cash. That's all right. Okey-dokey. Hello. Lulubell. Find the warlock that has been irresponsibly summoning demons and obtain a written confession of his wrongdoings. Someone else's mess. And banish demons that have been irresponsibly summoned to Stormheim. Is the subtext that she definitely did it? Or is it somebody's been framing her for it? No. I don't know. Should not mention how many books I have in my one-bedroom apartment. Would have glorified the space. Want to have a library one day? That sounds lovely. If you don't ever move, that's like great. If you move a lot, having a lot of books is requires you to hire people with strong backs. They're heavy. They're real heavy. Surely not. The Fizzlebags are well-respected warlocks. We need to go this way, I think. I used to think about one day buying hard copies of all of my favorite books that I've had in digital, but I think that I would just have them as like collector items. Like I wouldn't want to read them because I wouldn't want to, I don't know, put wear and tear on them when I could just read the digital version without any wear and tear. Read books on my phone, no physical books to put on the shelves. I'm right there with you. I'm also very much a digital book collection girly. It's mainly because I've been moving a lot. I moved a handful of times in the last couple of years. Not so much. I've lived here for 2 years now, but easier when you're oh, hang on. I need to actually press a button. Easier when you're not trying to bring a bunch of stuff with you. If you're doing that, I should go all out, get first editions. Yeah. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't even think I'm gonna buy like not first editions of them. Not unless I, for whatever reason, really wanted to read them on paper again. And I do like reading paper books, but it's just I've gotten really used to reading digitally. So I'm just comfy with it at this point. And I don't really want to have like a ton of objects that are just for like sentimental or collecting value because it just kind of like builds up around you. I like being not super attached to my things because it makes it easier to declutter whenever I feel like I need more space, more breathing room. Hazel, were you also the type of person who didn't want to read a book or series if your parents tried to suggest one to you? Goodness knows I was like that. I mean, it certainly sounds like me. I can't remember my parents ever suggesting me anything, though. I don't remember my parents being like, hey, you should read this. It would just like, you would just check something out from the school library, or they would take me to the big library, or I would just read the books in the house. I don't remember, like, occasionally I would get books as gifts, and I would read those. But that was more from, like my uncle. I had an uncle that worked in a bookstore when I was little, and we would get, like, we would get all the coolest books that were like hard to get copies of, like right when they came out. It was really sweet. Nothing is worse than being made to read a book you don't like. Hated reading school books. I managed to find something redeemable in most of the books they made us read for school. But I hated book reports. They felt so arbitrary. They felt like such busy work. They were basically just a way to prove that you actually read the book and weren't just lying about having read the book. But I would rather do, like, when they had quizzes that would have you answer questions. I would prefer that. I didn't all of this business about reading and then, like, summarizing what you've written, it's a useful skill and it's a good one to have, and it's one that I use most days in content creation, but good grief, it was boring in book reports. I hated those. It felt like you read something really cool and fun and then you had to boil it down into like a post-mortem document. Speak to Ritson Flamescowl, presumably back in the Warlock class hall. Presumably? Yeah. Okay. We'll dollar on Hearthstone this time. Yeah, I know a lot of people really like the audiobook thing. That works really well for lots of people, which I think is great, especially if it lets you reclaim something like your commute that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to read on. Cousin was a manager of a Books A Million. Give me pre-launch books, a series I liked months before they released. It was nice. Loved reading on the train when I was commuting. Can't focus enough to read at home. That's like a super, super, super common thing. You're very far from alone there. I think I'm just mainly lucky that of my attention issues, for whatever reason, they haven't affected my book reading. They affect a lot of other things. Sometimes I zone out with audiobooks. Hard to backtrack compared to written books. Yeah, I do like, sometimes I'll still notice when I'm reading that I've like read a paragraph and not like really, you know, onboarded what happened, but it, you know, you just go back and you read it again. How do you find your commute these days? Oh, it's magical. I walk down the hall and then I walk into this room. Well, you know, you take the dog for a walk, so you're still like locomoting, you know, you're motoring along. But oh, I like working from home. Come, kitty cat. Especially because it lets me spend more time with this muffin. And my other muffin too. But she likes quality time. I think she would be very sad if I was out of the house all the time. Closing her eyes on the couch with an audiobook is S tier relaxing. Ooh. That I've not thought of. That sounds pretty good. My mom used to listen to sleep stories. And I could tell because my bedroom used to be above hers when I was a kid. And I could kind of hear them through the floor. And you would sometimes, like, try and follow along. Excited. Today is my last day in the office. Starting next week, we'll be working from home. Nice. Book blues are real when you finish a series. I have to line up the next thing. My favorite is when I'm reading a series that's like a long series. So you finish a book and you've got like your next one ready to go because you know exactly what it's going to be. But when I get to the end of a series, I will, before I get to the end, I make sure to line something up so that I don't get like, oh, I have nothing to read. Because I can't sleep if I have nothing to read. I can't go to bed and not read something. I would have to like at least pick up a book that I already had and like start rereading it, because otherwise there's just no sleeping. Reading is a very important part of the sleeping ritual. That's how I make the brain chatter stop long enough for me to get tired. I think he's just going to offer me to, get a new artifact weapon, so we don't need to worry about that. Com has celebrities reading sleep stories. LeVar Burton's voice, so soothing. I liked your typo. I liked claim instead of com. CBCs between the covers. I don't know. It might have been. I think they were on tape. I think they were on cassette tape. Still weird that he plays, Andy Serkis plays Alfred in one of the Batman movies. I've never listened to an audiobook. Never. I have one of them that I owned that was like, I don't know, it must have been promotional or free or something, that I was gonna listen to. It just didn't really, the concept didn't really appeal to me. I hear that people in the Game of Thrones and like the A Song of Ice and Fire fan base talk a lot about Roy Dottridge reading those books and like his voice acting in them. Oh, all these hand warmers are piss. These are so good. Love Gaiman's book because he reads them himself, so I get what he intended as far as pacing and such. Choose who will become the final member of the council. Oh, and I'm gonna get some robes of the Black Harvest. I'm gonna get to be Netherlord boy. Netherlord boy. Choose a 6th. Yep, sure. Lululemon. Done. Are the audiobooks for Game of Thrones recommended? Yeah, I think so. There's like a couple of words that like people get annoyed with the way he says, but I think generally people like them. Harry Lloyd reads the newer version of Dunk and Egg. He's excellent. Okay. Glorious campaign. So we got our class robe set, which I kind of like. Those look pretty cool. And now we can pick up the new champion. We can go back to the top. I think now is when we go to the Broken Shore, but I'm just going to make sure that I've picked up everything that I might need to before then. Because last time I remember I had to go back and forth a few times talking to Khadgar and stuff. Yeah, I could totally get wanting the same person to voice all of the books. So not you. This is just asking you to choose a second artifact to pursue. That's not it. Oh, there we go. This is, I think, giving me extra artifact appearances, maybe? Oh, I must equip one. Oh, good, we have it on me. I was a bit worried that I'd put it away. Oh, it's a high-end PvP player looking for something chill. Class order hall is long, relatively short. Relatively short. There's a couple of points in the campaigns. It's not like a half an hour thing. Like it's gonna take you some doing. And there's a couple of points where they time gate you by asking you to do like 5 mission table missions that take an hour each. But you know, if you're like chipping away at it over a week, you can get it done without a whole lot of drama. Not too bad. I think we're almost done with this one. I'm just kind of doing one at a time very casually because, you know, you get one done once and then you have it forever. Okay. Oh, I'm not choosing a new artifact to pursue. You can't make me. But if we go back to Dalaran. This way, maybe? Yeah. Funnily enough, Good Omens is actually the audiobook that I have. The one audiobook that I have not listened to or read was Good Omens. I watched the Amazon Prime did a series on it, and I watched the first season of that. Okay. So, I understand Champions of Legion Fall. But first, I'm going to talk to Khadgar on the landing and see if I can get the skip to, like, kind of open up the Broken Shore. Just got that book to read before I start the show. Nice. Yeah, I bet it's good. I haven't read it, but I bet it's good. The show was good. Yeah, here we go. Now we're in business. Hopefully they don't do the thing that they did to me on my paladin. Hi, Khadgar. He has to walk a little bit. Skip this scenario. Huh. This is the thing I forgot to do last time. See? Never let it be said that I don't occasionally learn. And now that that's done, we are generally poking around for a quest. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Nope. Maybe? Yes. Champions of Legion Fall. So now you gotta go back and get a new champion. I have a pet peeve about guild player notes. Why can't I edit it directly in the first window? Instead, it needs to open a new window. Oh. I never thought of that before. In my current life, guild player notes are an important way to make it clear that I am Hazel. Seconds of my life wasted. Since all my characters are no longer named Hazel. I took my Cultier and Druid Barnacles out of guild last night, and I hope nobody noticed because it's not like I'm quitting the guild or anything, but I wanted to have a 70 that wasn't in guild that I could just like sit on to look at journals and things without being like online. And I could have done it on a low level character, but I wanted to do it in Borealis. I like it in Borealis. Okay, so now they're gonna send me back to Asuna because we have to go recruit a new champion. I always feel so bad when I leave a guild with an alt. Yeah. You gotta try and do it like when no one's logged in, and then just hope that nobody checks the records. But made it a social experiment to see how far I managed to level a tune before the random guild invites start happening. Ooh. I hope they let you respect trade skill talents. I want my points back. Yeah, I wonder if they will or not, because I think that if they did it, I could see them letting you do it once, but really just once, because if you let people do it often, then people will start to metagame that by like speccing in and out of various things as they want to craft them. I think they should give you one redo. I think they should give you one. Oops, wrong button. Dragon riding makes all this a lot faster, though. Yeah, you can get enough knowledge to fill out the whole thing. It's just that some of it's going to be time-gated, because after a certain point, you've got all of your one-time knowledge gains, and then you are relegated to getting your weekly knowledge gains, like your weekly knowledge point drops, your weekly treatises, your weekly knowledge quests. But if you do those for long enough, and you have enough time, then you will eventually get the whole thing done. I have my alchemy tree completely filled out on my evoker, so any extra points can just be turned into metal then. I did not get Sharkbait. I am out of attempts for this week. Well, we're north of 200 attempts. We'll get another 17 of them next week. A lot of people went into it not knowing what to do. The tricky thing was that early on, people didn't really know what was going to be good. You could try to predict it, but trying to predict what's going to actually be profitable is a really tricky thing to do, because it not only depends on what is needed for various things that people require, but also how many people go into making that. You can kind of predict demand, but you can't really predict supply. So it was almost impossible to know at the very beginning of the expansion. But the move was just to like commit to one thing, and then even if it was the wrong thing, just commit to it the rest of the way so that you could at least do something efficiently, and then just keep going and fill out the whole thing. As long as you start early and you keep up with it, is going to be, I think, the key thing for next expansion. And also, I mean, it worked out well for me this expansion, because you will eventually fill out the whole thing. So even if you didn't do the perfect order at the beginning, you'll eventually be in better shape, because if you play long enough, there will be people that come in much later that will not have nearly as much knowledge as you. multiple tunes with the same trait. You think? I mean, you could do it that way, and that would let you get access to different things earlier. But in the long term, that would end up being a bit redundant. Depends on how long you're planning on crafting for. I can't decide if I'm going to do the same thing again next expansion, or if I'm going to do the same thing again and then also some other stuff. Like if I'm going to try and... Well, actually... I've always been enchanting on my gnome. And it feels bad to drop enchanting. But... Herb elk. But I could do... I think what I'm going to do is enchanting elk on my gnome, and then I will have herb on an alt that I play, maybe a druid. Because eventually, like, you reach a point pretty early where gathering peters out in value, but it's really nice early when you're spending a lot of time on the character, because you can pick up like a bunch of extra gold while you're out doing the world quest that you were going to go out and do anyway. I don't know, I haven't picked professions yet. Herb elk is just such a nice combo for our main. It's just so good. And I gotta have elk in anything I'm going to raid on, because I cannot live with shorter file durations. I can't do it. You get too comfy with the super long file durations, or flasks, or whatever they call them in any given expansion. You like the super long ones. You don't want to refresh them that often. Elk will always be a safe bet. Yeah. Tailoring elk would be great. I would do probably... I mean, tailoring elk would be fine. I would probably do enchanting elk. I'm not a big armor crafting person. Especially not now with the way crafting orders require you to actually, like, talk to people. Let alone advertise. The horror. I watched people put a lot of effort into trying to explain to their purchasers how the crafting system works. Did not look fun. Let me know what you do decide. I won't do those. You're gonna do it all. I'm definitely doing elk. It's just a question of if my second prof is herb or if it's going to be enchanting. Who talks to people in a multiplayer game? I know, right? This seems like something's happening. But it also feels like it's not happening very much. Corrine the Devout. Is that her? Maybe I'll come back. Tailors used for cloth flipping only. Eating bracers for days. I did do tailoring for a while in my priest, and I mainly made gold off of making the time cooldown bolts, like your chronocloth and your azure weave. I did okay off that. I didn't really dump a lot of time into it. Why dead? Did I do that? Might have tabbed and done something wrong. I don't know. Maybe lurk. No, I do need to do this. Here, well, we'll backtrack a bit, look for one more crystal, and then come back and see if maybe responds. Favorite parts were some of the gold making Discord having specific channels dedicated to screenshots of people confused on paying for just, quote, pressing a button. Yeah. That sounds like those people could keep it. If I didn't have access to Flabby having all the crafting professions, I would maybe be more incentivized to do them myself so that I could craft my own things without needing to seek somebody out to do them. But when I can just hit up Flabby and ask him to make stuff for me, I don't feel a strong urge to actually level those professions myself. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pet on passive, and I'm going to walk up and aggro and let her, like, punch me a little bit here. I'm going to let her, like, actually hit me with a shadow bolt. And then I'm going to, like, melee her for a little bit. See if I can, like, actually take some health off. Because there might be, like, a time component to this fight or something. Because I think I was killing it, but it wasn't counting. So I'm just going to give it a sec. Make sure I've, like, taken some damage. Curiously enough, I'm not doing any damage to her. They haven't given me an item or anything as far as I can tell. I can't kill her too fast. Okay. She has 12,000 health. Rain of Fire might work. I'm I'm trying to find the things that I do that do the most piddly amounts of damage. Oh, actually, drain life. There we go. Well, it's 2 globals. Darn it. Okay. I really thought that would work. Let me wowhead this. The dot, like, 1 ticks her is the problem. Use the foam sword. I'm gonna wowhead this. See if there's anything that I want to try here. Get naked. Hit her with auto attack. Oh, you know what? I was auto attacking her with my artifact. Let's auto attack her with the staff. Let's try that. Let's put on my actual staff, and then maybe just for good measure, I will take off the rest of my gear. And then, although my gear shouldn't really affect my auto attack damage, should it? Oh well, he can be shirtless. That's fine. Oh wow, that does a lot of damage. Okay. Do I have like a fiddly weapon that's like in between these two things in terms of item level? Soft foam sword to take her down to 10% health. Whole body shrinkage. Make sure you don't have a pet. That's annoying. So fiddly to do at max level in BFA. Hit with the artifact. I mean, I tried that a few times. We'll try that. We'll try this. I do enjoy seeing his hair again. You know, his hood has been covering up his hair for a really long time.
You're too late. The ritual is almost complete.
Enough of these games. You will not interfere with our plans.
Now I bet I can do it. There we go. There we go. And then we're just going to put our gear back on. Okay. All right. Did those turn in? They turn in back in Fahrenheit. Well done, everybody. He has a good beard. It's a lovely beard. I like that his beard like sticks out the front of his head. Well, at least I had the toy. I would have been not a happy camper if I'd been missing that. Is it just me or my game sound get like super quiet? I can barely hear anything. I guess maybe music stopped. It's on loop. Maybe there's just no music in that cave. Need to see a foam sword raid. Alright.
How can I help? Summon with caution, friend. If it must be done. The void is
Kill demons in Fahrenheit. You betcha. No trouble. These are just spiders. They count though, it says. Although I've kind of lost the... I mean, it still says I'm fell empowered. I've lost the meter, like the bar. I wonder if that's going to be a problem. Did I mount? Is it because I mounted? I don't even remember if I did. I must have. I just want to know if I should like reacquire the quest. Yeah, so I'm doing the Legion class order hall stuff for mounts. I never did the mounts back, like all of the mounts back in Legion, so I'm on a Warlock right now trying to get my Warlock class mount. And that quest icon is fairly recent to the game. It's not an add-on as far as I know, but it's something that they do to mark campaign things in particular, to help differentiate them from side quests to keep you on track. Drop a sturdy love fool. Go to town. Okay, turn and punch your bag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the quest. I'm going to pick it back up. And I'm going to do the... There's apparently a cheese where you can use a target dummy. And just do it that way. Because I lost my... There we go. Yeah, I lost that meter, so I was a bit suspicious that I was going to have problems. Okie dokie. Let's see. Turnip punching bag. Well, it is working. I gotta do dentist today. That'll be fun. Visiting the dentist as an adult feels like the closest thing I get these days to getting like a report card. Checking to see if you've done your homework. And I have been doing my homework. Teeth feel pretty good, can't complain. What are we down to? A little over half. That's how I feel about the doctor. One day I would love to have a doctor. Worse dental genetics? That really sucks. That's no fun at all. But being on top of it is a huge good thing. Like, I know it sucks to like still get the work done and also need to put all that time into your dental hygiene, but the fact that you're doing it is keeping your mouth, I'm sure, in like much better shape than it could have been. Fear the dentist doesn't help. Aw, yeah, that's no fun. I'm sorry. I actually really like the dentist that I found here. I was nervous about finding one, but it turns out it wasn't super hard, and I really like going. They're great. Mind you, I don't have insurance, but that kind of makes it, I mean, yes, expensive, but easier, because there's no back and forth of like, oh, we tried to bill insurance this, but they said they wouldn't pay for this. There's none of that. It's just like, here's hundreds of dollars. Thank you for cleaning my teeth. Goodbye. It's worse and better. Had a cavity for years. Dentist said it was almost at the pulp of my molar. Need a root canal. Okay, we finally did it! I don't know if it took a minute, but it got done. Expending fell energy. There we go. Crystals have been depleted. Back to the Dreadscar Rift. You have to pay them to beg your insurance to maybe cover it. Yeah. Yeah, if it was offered like by the dentist, I would look into it. Maybe. Depending on like what it offered and what it covered and stuff like that. But I just kind of, what I do, because I don't have employer's insurance for stuff, is for anything that that would have normally been covered by employer's insurance that isn't covered by like Canadian healthcare, like glasses and vision and dental and stuff, I just kind of save money. Like I pay what I would have paid for insurance, and I keep that in savings, and then I just use that savings to pay for it. It's like very straightforward. But I just set that money aside in advance. And that way it kind of hurts a little bit less because I'm like, oh, you know, you've technically been paying this because I don't pay for insurance, but I just save it. And then I pay out of that. And then the nice thing about that is I'm paying for exactly the services I'm getting. I'm not paying for any services I'm not getting. And, you know, if something horrible happens, it'll be expensive. If nothing happens, it won't be so expensive. Sometimes that's life. I've really made mistakes here. I don't know why I left. Two yearly cleanings, x-rays, 10% off any needed procedures. But the problem with paying completely out of pocket for stuff like that is that it can lead you to have conversations with yourself like do I need to go and get blank thing done? And if you end up like postponing dental procedures because you can't afford them in a given moment, that can really get out of hand very quickly, because then you end up needing more expensive dental procedures for more painful ailments if you leave them. That's not a fun game to play with yourself. That's no good. I'm a big fan of preventative maintenance. At least with teeth, because I understand how to do teeth.
I grow restless. Entertain me. Let's get on.
Alright. Back to the broken shore. At least they haven't hit us with another time gate here. Will you take me there? Oh, thank you. Goodness.
If it must be done. The void is my ally.
I'm casting around for a new topic because the next thought that I had was like really morbid and pretty depressing and fairly existential. And it's only 10:48 in the morning, so I'm thinking around for something that we can all chat about that is little lighter. What do we got? What can I share?
What needs doing? Summon with caution, friend. The void is my ally.
Will you teleport me back to the Dreadscar Rift?
If it must
No.
be done.
Alright. Why no? Why not? No. I love no. This isn't my main, but my main is also a no. Food? We can always talk about food. Husband and I are adopting a hamster soon. Oh, that's so exciting. I love the research phase of getting new pets where you like learn all the stuff and you make all the notes and you like list all the supplies and the different things that you keep up with. I love that part. I wonder if I can like rest on this ship. I think I can. Yeah, didn't care today. Give hamster huge wonderland. Lots of room. Do you play your little league? Nah, I haven't played League. You have a pet turtle. Tell me about your turtle. I remember reading something about how some studies about rodent motivation were flawed because it was later discovered, like they were kind of tracking motivation and drive by how much time they spent running on their wheel. And that was later found to be flawed because it was discovered that even if you put like a hamster wheel or a big one in the forest, lots of random animals that have not been trained to use them will go and play on them just for fun. Apparently, like, hamster wheels are just inherently fun and rewarding in their own right. And that data point had, like, confused the results of, like, a lot of experiments because people didn't realize that they would do it anyways. or something. I don't. I'm misremembering the details, but there was something to that effect that was pretty funny. I have one for my cats. They love it. Oh man. Got an estimate of his age. Says 2 years old. Oh. Maybe the squirrels in my backyard will run on one. Humans do use treadmills. Yeah. Do humans like using treadmills though? Maybe if it was a large wheel, it would be more fun. I like running. I loathe treadmills. I find them to be very boring. You'd have to, I guess if you like do the thing where you like set up like a TV show on your phone. I used to use a treadmill in like my teenage years, which was kind of before portable devices that could supply entertainment to your eyeballs from anywhere. So you could, I had an iPod, I could like listen to music, but that was about it. You'd rather go outside? Yeah, I'd rather go outside too. He's a yellow-bellied slider turtle. Got him in January 6th. Those that say they like treadmills are lying to themselves and you. I mean, I can see the appeal of being able to run at any time of day or night without worrying about your safety outdoors, because in some places it's not safe to go running by yourself or to go running by yourself at certain times of day. It's, independent of weather. I can see that being a big benefit. But, I don't know. My brain has, like, a thing where if it thinks that the thing it's doing is pointless, it's not happening. I will not do something just for the sake of doing it if I do not have a point. It doesn't have to be a good point. It can just be like something as simple as I find this thing entertaining or this satisfies me. But like, if I cannot be convinced of a good reason why I need to do it, no way. Absolutely not. And treadmills kind of like trigger that thing for me of like, this is pointless. This is not for anything. You may as well go somewhere. Where does Champion of Legion Fall turn in? Does it turn in back on the Broken Shore? It does. Good grief. Had him for a month, named him Michelangelo. Mikey for short. Aw. I only run when I'm being chased, and I avoid being chased. Yeah. I like running because I like to pretend that I'm in a Nike commercial. I'm not, and they would never in their right minds cast me because I'm not in particularly good shape, and I'm sure my form's terrible. But, you put on the right tunes and you're going and you feel powerful. Sometimes you just feel out of breath. But I mainly run for my mental health. I'm sure it's all right for my physical health, but it's more so that if I know that if I get like an actual, if I actually get my heart rate up for a little bit, that will do wonders for the next like 48 hours for me. Ay. But man, if I lived walking distance from some actual like trails, because I live in like the city right now and I love it, but like, oh, I would kill for like an actual like forested quiet trail of decent length that I could walk to and not drive to. I just need to suck it up and just start driving to these sort of things like multiple times a week, but I don't like driving. I don't want it. All right, I should be so close to class hall mount time, although I guess there's probably a little quest line to get them out. Let's see. Can you bike to a trail? Depends on how fit you are. You might not want to go for a walk by the time you get there. Also, biking in the city, I would never. People do it all the time. It's a very bike-friendly city. Lots of bike lanes, lots of people do it. I will die. I will die. I will die. I will fall over and die. No more Hazel, rest in peace. We're going here. If I go back to the Dreadscar Rift, will they now? I've done Champions of the Legion Fall, so I think now we go back again. Where did the green hair go? It's on the shelf. Pacific Northwest is a whole much more bike friendly than the Midwest. The idea of having a bus drive by me while biking is a big nope. Your hair grows so fast. Oh, yeah. It's just, you know what it is? It's just the talent pouring right out of me. It doesn't have anywhere to go because I refuse to do any actual work, so it just like extrudes from my scalp as hair. Yeah, I would say Victoria and generally British Columbia, especially West Coast British Columbia, to be Pacific Northwest. You're on the Pacific Ocean. You're in the Northwest. It counts. To me, Pacific Northwest is more about like the climate and the ecosystem and the what do they call it? Temperate rainforest. Kind of Southwest Canada. No, that does make sense. But while it's true that I am on one of the southernmost points of Canada, living this close to the 49th parallel, I have never in my life heard someone say that I'm a Southern Canadian. It was true, technically. Not once have I ever heard anyone say it, though. That's funny. I really thought that they were going to start me a quest line out here because I did my Legionfall champion. I really thought that it was going to be like, hey, excuse me, one mount, please. There really aren't Northern Canadians? I mean, if somebody from, you know, the Yukon or the Northwest Territories or Nunavut said, hey, I'm a Northern Canadian, I'm from one of these northern provinces, I would be like, yep, you sure are. Because that's like a thing. No cities up there? Yellowknife begs to Whitehorse. Begs to disagree. Iqaluit. Again, there's the roads problem, but it's still a city. They deserve a badge, very gold. Is it you? Yes. Yes, it is you. Yes, those are cities. I don't live in them, but I will defend their right to be cities. I used to have family that lived up there, but they don't anymore. They moved to Saskatoon. I no longer know anybody that lives in the northern provinces. I wonder why it's not showing on my map. That's not what it was then. Did I leave something in the Broken Shore? It's not investigating the Legion. It's not Legionfall supplies. I don't think it's Shard Times. It might be Bloodbringer's Missive. I think that one's new. I think I forgot to pick up a quest in the Broken Shore. It's a good thing that it's not super far, but holy moly, this Drake's been doing overtime. I had like a random shower thought that you guys might know that I could Google, but I haven't Googled. I understand that places like American Samoa and Puerto Rico are like territories, but not states of the US. If you were a US citizen, can you go live in those places without needing to immigrate, or is there still like paperwork and like visa rules that you have to navigate? Yes. I think maybe I need to wait a little longer. So like if you're born in Michigan and you want to go live in American Samoa, can you just go? Move in. You can go live there, no problem. Move here, vote. Yeah, I'm more thinking of people from the mainland moving there. Don't think there's any stuff. Moved there and back several times. Spent 2 months in Puerto Rico working. So I was looking for the blood one. Yeah. Warlock quest. Here we go. Go back to Dreadscar Rift. We have news in Dreadscar Rift. Oh. Fine. I'm doing this so often I haven't even recovered all the charges on my free Drake Vigor.
But a new opportunity beckons us back to the realm of the Dreadsteeds. Meet me in Dreadscar Rift, and I will explain.
Okay. Oh, this is not where I need to be. Hmm. Does anybody think that the demon that's on the Dreadscar Rift loading screen that's being summoned in the portal looks kind of cute? He's got like a little baby infernal face.
What shall we summon?
Alright, what do you want? Wrathsteed, go on. I wonder how much they're gonna make me do for this. They made me buy like a bunch of materials on Anthus for his paladin mount. Yeah, alright. Collect some stuff. Collect an overcharged Felcor from the command. I have to do a Legion Assault. Okay. And then Owl Beast Blood. Gross. Okay. Is there an assault up? I might have to wait for an assault. I might not be able to do it all now. Hazel, do you like Mexican food? And if so, what's your favorite Mexican dish? I haven't had a ton of super authentic Mexican food. It sounds extremely sheltered to me to say that I like tacos, but I do. They're delicious. Sometimes we have enchiladas. But again, this is very sheltered. I used to go to a Mexican bakery. There was a Mexican bakery that I lived not crazy far from. It was like a reasonable drive in Oregon. And I would go there and they would have different like pastries and desserts. And you know, they also did like, you know, tacos and burritos and whatever, so you get lunch, but like I would always get like a couple of pastries to bring home. It was good. I liked that because they had a lot of things that I'd never seen in a bakery otherwise that I got to try. I couldn't tell you the names of any of them, but everything was delicious. They were good. So let's first of all do the shopping thing. Let's see how much this is going to set me back. I already have 2 of 5 fell slates, and that's something. I just need 3 more of these. That's cheap. This is a gem, I think. 20 gold per. Fine. Unbending potion. Eh, okay, 10 gold. Easy. Just 1. Not too expensive. All right. I think the overcharged Felcor is gonna be the sticking point for the moment. Hi, Hazel, what you up to? I am working on the Warlock class order hall mount. I'm finally on the mount quest line. Now we can head to Valcheron. We can do some Owl Beast blood. Have you ever tried an Indian taco instead of softer hard shells fry bread? That sounds pretty good. I've not tried that. I do Indian food fairly often. Indian food is my favorite thing to get after like a big hike or a big fishing day where I've just done a lot of exercise and I haven't really eaten enough all day and I need to catch up on food. I want to do it without feeling like ill. You get like your curry and your rice and your naan bread. And then I also do samosas and I also like pakoras and then sometimes a mango lassi, and it's a ton of food. It's a ton of carbs. It's delicious. And it usually sits a lot better with me than like something like veggie burgers and fries, which I used to get after fishing. Now I want naan. Now I want Indian food. It's been so long. Oh man, we have a lot of great Indian places here. It's real good. we think for 50 blood? How much blood? Ah, you're dropping 3. That's fine. Do I not have auto loot on? Maybe I do and it was just a quest item. Collectibles and realms. Data for Azeroth? Perhaps? It was either Data for Azeroth or Simple Armory are the 2 main ones that I tell people about. Malai kofta, my favorite Indian dish. I think, hang on, let me Google it just to make sure. There was one time that we ordered something and they were out of it and they just gave us a different dish, and that might have been what it was. Paneer dumplings. Yeah, those were good. Those were good. I haven't ordered them again. But those were really good. I love Indian because they have lots of vegetarian options that are fully thought out meals and not just meat dishes that they took the meat out from and then maybe added some tofu. Oh no, she's stuck. I hope she's stuck. She's still alive. She seems to have been cemented into the stone. Hana masala? I've never heard of banana pakora. That's wild. Do you like spicy heat dishes? Sometimes. Yeah, I don't usually seek it out though. I don't mind if something comes and it's like super hot, but I usually prefer like a more medium to mild level of spice so I can enjoy all the other flavors without sweating out too much. Yeah. If I'm cooking at home, if I'm making a curry at home, I'll usually either do like a basic dal, like a lentil curry, or I'll do a chickpea one, which is what I did last night. And then I'll just kind of guess at the spices, but like it comes out good enough for me. What are you doing? Never been to that place? I am collecting Owl Beast blood because apparently it's needed for my Warlock class order hall mount. I'm in Vel'Shirah. We're almost done. I think that the Felcourt's gonna be a problem though, because I don't think anybody's invading right now. I'm gonna have to check and see when the next invasion is. If you read her quest text, she's being melted down by Moomkins. Used to work for a vegan food company. Almost everything was made from chickpeas. Yeah, you gotta have some variety. I love chickpeas, but I won't do them every day. You know, you gotta mix it up a little bit. Okay. I guess I could turn in this quest just for the 20 gold. It was just a quest that we picked up automatically while we were over here. It's 20 gold I get to keep. You could spend it for something. Nah, you can't buy much for 20 gold these days anymore, but... Warlock class order hall mounts, the Wrathsteed. There's gonna be a couple colors of them, and at least one color we're gonna need to farm from like a rare, I think. But I don't think we're gonna get that far today. Let me look at this. Fell to the core. There's somebody who was sad during Legion when this came out. Not fair to see all the other classes flying around on their mounts. Warlocks have to wait until the middle of the night to get there. It's because I guess the invasion didn't happen until later. Any commander of a Legion ship invading the Broken Isles, complete 4 world quests, then complete a quest, and then run a scenario. Don't forget to loot the core. Alright, so if I look on Wowhead, and then I go to Legion. Legion assaults. Next assault is at 6 p.m. 6 hours and 49 minutes from now. And then there's one at 12:30 tomorrow, 7 a.m. Saturday. Gross. There's not one on stream for ages. I'm gonna write down. Oh, did I get pen on my shirt? No, we're good. 6 p.m. tonight. Legion assault. Time is it? 10 after 11? Okay. Because we are stuck until then. But I think that might be the last piece of it. Or at least towards the end. That's a really nice story, Saga. Yeah, you guys are making me hungry. Okay. Well, I've got some stuff I can vendor at least. It is 11:11, make a wish, etc. Oh, I know what I want to do before I go. I might end up wrapping stream a little early today to make sure I have time to be all ready to leave, give Moosey a nice long walk before I go to the dentist. But I have some Azerothian Archives World Quest that I'd like to do. And then I can buy another piece of Transmog because I'm really close to 10,000 mysterious fragments, so I could get another thing off the vendor. I mogged Barnacles into that two-handed mace. I don't know if it'll show on his screen, but I mogged him into... Yeah. I love this thing. I use it in so many different things. I don't even know if it, like, fits. I just imagine him, like, waiting to escort you off the ship. Love that. Alright, world quests. Could also start last epoch. Is it a survival crafting? Tell me more about it. What's the deal? Why did you never make a vid for Farek? I am still working on it. I think the answer to that one is chronic procrastination. Poor management of my mental health. I will have it out before season 4, but it's very late. I have a difficult time completing things that have nebulous deadlines, and because it had a nebulous deadline, I couldn't get it done before the raid because I didn't have footage yet. Oh, can I just like sneak into this time rift? The boss is probably dead. Similar to Diablo games. Okay. Is everybody leaving? Is this over? Oh, people are fighting something. Tag it! Yeah! It counts! Look at me, I did a time rift. Take your time, don't feel too rushed. Oh, shucks, thanks. I was talking with someone recently about how sometimes when you've like got a project like that, like something that you've been avoiding forever and you know you need to do it, but like you're just blocked on not being able to start it. Sometimes having somebody like remind you about it and be like, hey, how's the job hunt going or whatever, can like kick you into action. But for a lot of people that just like sets you back like 10 steps. And I am definitely the second type of person, otherwise it would have been done a long time ago. Because there's no lack of people asking me about it, which don't get me wrong, I am not complaining that people ask for it. It is incredibly flattering that people want to see a YouTube video that I have not made yet. There are a million YouTubers that would kill to be in that boat. Yeah. The most encouraging thing to say is that I am working on both the video but also my mental health. I understand that this is not an acceptable state to live my life in if I want to have a successful career as a content creator anyways. If I just want to like exist and be a person, then it's fine. It's all right. I'm not doing too bad, but I would like to do more. And I would like to finish things in a more timely manner. There we go. Got some extra flakies. My aunt always thought it was the best way to deal with me. Just made me annoyed. Yeah. Okay, that one's up there. That one's down there. This one's over here. Sure, yeah. Let's go to the Waken Shore. It's hard to explain what's going on with you when you are having like that kind of hang up on something that is irrational. It's really hard to explain to people. And you know, you don't have to and you shouldn't need to, but like there's like some people will understand because they've also been there, and some people will just never understand. And that's okay. Is it irrational to you? Yes. Yeah, it's real dumb. It's very irrational to me as well. That's part of what makes it so frustrating. Okay, we're gonna talk to this person. But like, I can say that about myself. If somebody else said that I was being dumb, I would be hurt by that, even though I know that that's true. It's not helpful. That's been an important revelation for me, is that just because a fact is true does not mean that it is a useful thing to focus on or bring up at a given time. Also chronically there. Yeah, I think should have is like one of the most toxic parts of my vocabulary because it's not helpful. If I'm saying I should do something, not only am I not going to do it, but I'm not going to be happy about not doing it. I either choose to do it and say, I'm doing this. I'm choosing to do this. I have brought myself in here, so I'm going to deal with it. or choose not to do it and live with those consequences. There's gonna be consequences either way, but living in forever shouldland is just purgatory. It's awful. At least you're doing right by you mentally. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. It's not perfect, but I'm trying. Oh no, I'm not saying that that's a bad term for you to use. I was just commenting on the wider use of should in general, and how that's like a really easy trap to get caught in. I still do it too. I still tell myself, oh, I should do this, and I'm like, hang on. What's a different way that I can frame this? Is this going well? We doing all right? That's a Draconid painting. That's a different issue. I wonder what transmog I'm gonna get next. Should I get a weapon? Should I get a hat? I don't think I can afford the hats, actually. I'm gonna have 10k fragments, not 15k. I thought about doing these world quests and more alts to funnel fragments to my main, because apparently that does work now, but like, I don't know about all that. I might prefer to just get all the mog really slowly. Anything up here? Oh, there's a rare up here. Drops things that I need, but probably nothing for cloth. Just resign myself to the weekly quests. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. Although I'm always at risk of forgetting the weekly quests. I think that I'm probably there's gonna be weeks that go by where I just completely forget to do a dig. Because I've been doing them on my main. If I left a character there, if I was smart and I just parked a character there, so all I had to do is log in once on like a Tuesday or Wednesday, do one dig. But I want to finish the rep on my main character, so I want to do all the digs on my main character. It's kind of the same problem I had with Time Rifts and Sword Army. There's someone who said that I can help to change it to a want. Do you want to do this thing? Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I personally, just for me, prefer choose over want, because I'm a whiny baby. So sometimes if I'm like, do I want to do this? I'll be like, no, I don't want to do it. But will I choose to do it? Maybe. Maybe not. But with, I get caught in once because I don't want to do anything. I know I don't want to do stuff. That's my problem. Cannot wait for account-wide rep, among other account-wide stuff. Yeah, I foresee a lot of great changes, and I also foresee a fair amount of people being frustrated when not as many things are as retroactive as we want them to be right away. I think things will become more retroactive over time. But alright, so that was good. Let's go to the Forbidden Reach, shall we? I can just fly there from here, eh? Well, my dragon's kind of tired. Am I close to a fast travel? Yeah. Kinda. Sure. Yeah, Cash, I think that genuinely is part of it. Although, there are definitely cases of people that are in that situation where they cannot afford to, and they do it anyways, and they end up in big trouble. That's rock bottom territory. That can happen. Sometimes you think you need that like fear to kick you into action, and sometimes it works. But if it doesn't, then you're like in big trouble. Don't understand how to get charges on the War Within mount. Yeah, I just don't bother. I think it has to do with flying near a wall. But I don't know. A lot of things not being retroactive kind of fair considering their limitations. Yeah, I think so too. I'm just anticipating like the Wowhead comments and the forum comments, which is a terrible game to play, but like anytime that they ever announce anything that's like good and exciting and generally liked, the first thing that I'll read is either this should have happened a long time ago, or why is this not also the case for XYZ other thing? We can't just like take a gift. I'm not saying we should be grateful for everything they ever do in the game, but like it's funny to me that that's always the direction the Discord gets. Like no matter what they do, it's never good enough. It's always, why wasn't this 10 years ago? Why isn't this also the thing in these other parts of the game? It's never enough. Major finds unearthed. Unearthed. Love account-wide Drake Worm Crest achievements. Still having to use lower crest to upgrade all gear. Mm-hmm. I personally don't mind that so much, because that's part of what it motivates me to gear on alts. Pardon me, I need wind, so I need to touch the totem. That's part of what motivates me to gear up my alts. Is like on my main, I'll be like, man, I haven't needed these Drake's Crest in ages, but imagine what I could like. It would be kind of cool to have a character that did need them. And then I could like actually be using them and be like excited when I get them. Like that would be kind of a cool space of the game to be playing in. But what I want is I want account-wide flight stones. I want just account-wide flight stones. I do not want to have to grind flight stones again. If I have extras in my main. I am really not using my thinker with this one. So we're heading towards wind. We're now overly windy. We need water. And now we can do it again. There we go. Nice. Well, that was nice and fast. And then there's one more in the Zerlik Caverns we can go do. Which I think I'm going to actually like Hearth to Voldraken to get closer to being back in the caverns. And then we'll like flight path back out. Outside of account-wide rep, the account-wide translog will be one of the best things coming. I'm excited to farm log after that change goes in. I think it's going to be really, really good. Okay. Oh, hey, I have a vault. I never opened my vault from last week. Finally finished the Gilneas quest today. Nice, congratulations. Yeah. I would personally not be in favor of a massive increase to drop chances of cosmetics. I think that 1% farms are fun. I think that having lots of them to work on makes them more, I don't know, exciting. It's funny to say as a collector, but I don't particularly want to finish collecting. I like the journey of collecting, and if it was made trivial, then I would be missing out. Don't you ever want to finish collecting? No! Because then what would I do? Collecting is something to do. It's a journey and not a destination. As a newish collector, I feel like I'm more motivated by how rare these things are. Hazel, I have a crush on a guildie. How do I make it go away? Oh, man. What would you do? The classic advice is imagine them saying or doing things that you would find to be unflattering or off-putting, to kind of reframe them in your mind. Second thing is to just, like, wait. Those things usually have a lifespan, especially if you don't feed them by dwelling on them a lot, which is hard. And chat, any other advice? Those are my two things, would be imagine them saying something or doing something that would, like, really turn you off. Or secondly, try not to think about it and just wait a bunch. I guess the third option is to try and develop a crush on somebody else. Whether that's somebody that is more available or somebody that's less available. Such as like a fantasy figure, whatever it may be. We're going to the Zerlik Caverns. Delude yourself into thinking they're horrible people. And sometimes it's true. Not saying that that person is terrible, but like, it's true that when we have a crush on somebody, we don't necessarily consider their character with a neutral bias, and sometimes there's things that you just don't know. Fine with 1%. Old raids need partial skips. Yeah, I like that. I think that's more reasonable. Get married. Crush solved. Yeah. I'm not a real relationship advice person. I'm, you know, like, I've got my own issues. I don't know if I'm the person you want to take advice from. Where am I going? I'm going to the world quest. Here we go.
There are more secrets. We must uncover them, yes?
Alrighty. Goggles. Done. This world quest gets, like, it breaks every time. I swear, if I have to do this and then come back in war mode to finish it, which I might, because they've done that to me every time I've done this world quest so far. I'm just kind of like hoping that maybe they might have fixed it by now. I guess I should turn my minions and minor nameplates back on. Are you excited for hero talents? Not really. Not really. I'm kind of reserving judgment until I actually have them to play with. I think they'll be fine. They're not something that I'm like, yeah, give me hero talents kind of thing. It's just, it's something that I've accepted I'm going to have to learn how to use in order to do my day-to-day things. Nameplates. Minions minor. We are very close, if not right on top of the thing we need to loot. It's not this ritual offerings. That's a treasure. That's different. It's this thing. Until I play with the talents, I can't decide if it's great or not. Yeah, it sounds intriguing to me. But oh, hey, another one right there. Okay. Oh, is there gonna be a third one? It exists. It's real. It works. I wonder if they just stuck a bunch more of them on this world quest to kind of get around that problem. Because one of them was just bugged. Because I don't remember looting those two before. Yeah. For me, the expansion concept selling point of the War Within is the account-wide everything that Ian said on stage. Like that philosophy is worth the expansion hype to me. The zones and race are gonna be fine. Delves are intriguing to me, but I need to like play them to kind of form an opinion. Particularly the higher difficulties of them. Warmer, warmer, warmer. Not that. This? Yeah. Okay, so no achievement yet. No luck on finishing that achievement, but we're one step closer. And I now have enough fragments to go shopping. So let's use my diggin' mitts to get me back to Loam. And then we'll take a flight path to get me as close as I can to the Azeroth Archives vendor. And then we'll go buy something. Excited more for the pre-patch for warbands than the actual expansion. Yeah, same. But I think that I think it'll be a good expansion. I'm excited to get. I want dynamic flying, dragon riding, on loads of mounts. I want huge lists of mounts that they're gonna make it work for. I don't care if they look kind of goofy. I'll say that right now. I don't care if it doesn't look perfect. I just want to be able to use them. Flight path? Whoa, you can fall through. You can fall through the ceiling. That's funny. I don't know. I guess I thought my dragon couldn't fit. Flight path is this way. You'd think I could see it on my map, but I'm like, I haven't been here in a while. There it is. It's right there. I want flight form dynamic flight. Yeah. Pleased about the fact that delves are solo friendly. Feels like WoW is finally recognizing how many people play solo. I like having the solo play as like an option to supplement the other content. I like this mount. I think that looks good. I know I have shield gliders. I just don't know if I have... I guess I have one that looks kind of like that. I don't remember it being so, like, rocky on the back of it. He looks kind of happy, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll play alpha if I get access. It's not, nothing says that I have to play it for like 6 to 8 hours at a time. I may or may not stream much of it. Sometimes I stream alpha and sometimes I don't, depending on whether or not there's anything there that I feel like is worth streaming. I'll usually make at least a handful of videos though, so that's usually what I do, is I'll play some of it and then make a couple YouTube videos. But yeah, you gotta play it, at least for content reasons. Love it. Kitty cat, you're so cute. I wish I could bring my cat to the dentist. Just have her on my lap. Feels like it's coming up fast. Yeah. That'll be great. That'll be good. Expansion launches always just bring like a lot of excitement to the game and to the stream and to videos and stuff. It's just fun. Alpha's not out yet. We don't know when. We don't know when. Once Season 4 is live, though, and we're expecting... So patch 10.26 comes out sometime in March. Season 4 PTR will go up, presumably also in March, shortly after. And then they launch Season 4. It depends on if it's like a quick testing cycle or not. But I feel like once Season 4 is out... I would be surprised if we did not get alpha shortly after that, if not around the same time. Roadmap shows between 10.26 and Season 4 we'll get alpha. Yeah. There you go then. That's good. I don't know what I'm gonna buy yet. Let's go shopping. The graphics been pretty accurate so far. Pretty good. I know that they're like a development studio with like teams of people, but I admire the commitment and the organization that it takes to like make a year-long plan and roadmap and then actually follow through on it. I could never. Imagine I release a Hazel roadmap. Alright, what am I buying? I've got 12,000 fragments. We could buy 2 pieces of cheap things. I think I'm getting this set last. I think I've been focused on the weapons, because I have that set in a different color. So I'm not too fussed about getting these things, because I have them in the lighter color already. So I'm more about these guys. There's a magnifying glass, there's a shovel. Those are later, because I think there's appearances that look very similar, the shovel in particular. I want things that are kind of unique. The chisel's a little bit different. I got the lantern already. I have the cudgel already. The gun's kind of cool, but I haven't been playing any gun characters. Oh, the torch! Oh, it's another two-handed mace. But it's cool! It's different! I need it! Yeah, cool, different, need it. Done. Spelunking torch.
Farewell.
It's bright. It's shiny. It's fiery. Can't you get a house with fragments? Did you ask? Oh, man. I saw a little place... I looked at listings again. I saw a little place that was actually really cute. That I could, like, maybe almost kind of afford, depending on stuff. I don't know. It was cute. It's not like a big place with a yard or anything like that. But, it's a place I could see myself, like, living. And... making all my own. Yeah, how many fragments, right? Real estate. I mean, I'm just complaining into the ether here, but real estate is real expensive in BC, especially if you want to live on the southern island like I do. Spoiled of me to want to stay here, but you know, sue me. My mom lives here. I'm going to mail that to a character that can learn it, and I'm going to wrap up the stream a little early to make sure that I have lots of time. Be nice and ready for the dentist because I'm very cool and I like to over-prepare for stuff like that. How was your Dragonflight experience? Scale 1 to 10. 9. Because you can't give it perfect scores. But I really can't complain about it. There's been always stuff for me to do. I've had a great time in Keys. I've had a great time in Raid. I've had some great time in PvP. I've done lots of fun collecting. I leveled a bunch of alts. Dragon riding's been great. I've made a ton of gold. I've had the time of my life. It's been great. It's been a great expansion for me. Sending this big torch to... Set it to Barnacles. He can use two-handed maces. He'll learn that. Oh, it's so cool. I love that thing. It's huge. He'll have to mock it. Wait a second. Hang on, hang on. I messed up. I messed up. I can't mail it. I have to mail the fragments. Ugh. I have to vendor it to get a refund. I have to sell it to a vendor. At least they let me refund it. Sell it to a vendor, get the refund, and then I would have to go back to the vendor, buy 10 of those things, send them to... Oh gosh, I'm doing this later. I'm quitting. There we go. There's why it didn't get 10 out of 10. That reason right there. All right. I had a wonderful time today. I am going to wrap up a little bit early, but hopefully by the time you see me again, I will be ready to actually get Boys Warlock class mount. We're going to poke around with some collecting stuff in WoW, but also a couple of non-WoW streams this week because I am mainly a self-found classic hardcore waiting room at this point. I'm so excited for self-found. It's not out yet, so we're keeping ourselves busy for the next week. Appreciate the... I did refund it. Appreciate the company, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!